Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since we discovered Spotify for Podcasters, we have had so much fun trying out all of the features like Q&As and polls that let us be really creative and engage with our audience. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Meghan and Harry take New York City. Kate stuns in outfits from the red carpet to the tennis court, and William is in USA Today. It's all right here on episode 39 of Podcast Royal. It's episode 39 of Podcast Royal. I'm Rachel here with my lovely friend Jessica. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. Do I sound different from 34 to 35?
I was going to say you sound so mature today.
Yeah, right. Not hardly. How was your weekend?
Well, it was not as exciting as yours. It was pretty low key. It was good. I hung around the house and got some projects done. Nothing too major, but I'm excited to hear all about your birthday weekend.
Yeah, it was really fun. I went to a winery and it was so you and I have been, there's such a thing for those that don't live in the Birmingham area as the Alabama Wine Trail. Jessica and I have been to 2 of the 3 wineries together, and I went to the third one over the weekend, and it was nice. And I bought a bottle of Magnolia was what it's called, wine. And then I went to dinner at Cafe DuPont, which is a really nice restaurant here in Birmingham, and went to Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams, which, for those that don't know, if you have a Jenny's in your city, they give you a free ice cream on your birthday, which I actually did not know when I walked in the doors.
I did not know we had a Jenny's in Birmingham.
I almost feel bad for telling you that piece of knowledge because I am addicted to, I'm not even a sweets person. I am not an ice cream person, but I could eat Jenny's every night of my life. It is so good. Gooey butter cake and milkiest chocolate in a waffle bowl. It's heaven. It's heaven.
Well, I don't know how I missed that. We have one here. I've seen them around. I have never had their ice cream before.
Well, don't start because you'll never want to stop. And it's in Pepper Place. It's right by Hot Fish Club. I know we're getting a little too Birminghamian on our listeners. A little too local, but yeah, it was a great weekend, and it's a blessing to be a year older. I am 35 and thankful for it. So thank you for the happy birthday wishes, and especially to you, Jessica, for just wishing me happy birthday and always being there.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed your birthday, and we're both having a great week this week.
Yeah. So what are you into this week?
So, okay. Well, now that you mentioned ice cream, I'm going to say a couple of things. So on the ice cream note, for any of our friends who have to do dairy free, there is a new ice cream at Whole Foods called, the brand is Forager. So they make other dairy-free products like yogurt, but they've got an ice cream line, and it's made from cashews. And Rachel, you would never know that it is not even a dairy ice cream. It is so good. I've had the vanilla. I still want to try the cookie dough, but it is fantastic. So
I
am
know.
into that ice cream right now. I do eat some dairy, but that's a great alternative for anybody who can't. So the other thing that I'm into, and I feel sort of bad saying this because I definitely got this from another podcast that I listened to. Someone I was listening to this last week was talking about something they were into, and I went and found it, and now I'm into it. But it is actually a podcast, and it's called Were You Raised by Wolves? Have you heard of it, Rachel?
No, and I'm dying to know what it's about because the title is very intriguing.
Okay, well, it is all about etiquette and manners and
Okay.
being polite, but it's definitely humorous and entertaining. So listeners will send in their questions and they'll ask, did I commit a faux pas, or did this person, were they rude when they did this? And the hosts have a conversation about the scenario, and they talk about Emily Post and all of the classic etiquette rules and what you should do in which situations. I mean, it's everything from how to respond to emails to how to deal with rude party guests. I mean, you name it. But it's so funny, and actually, I feel like I've learned a lot. I've been binging their episodes.
Okay, I have seen that podcast. Now that you say that, it's on the top 200 under, I think, Society and Culture on Apple Podcasts. And so but I didn't know that it was about etiquette. I didn't know what it was about. So I'll have to check that out because that is endlessly fascinating to me.
Yes, it was great. So what are you into?
Okay, so this week, or rather today, I am into the way Kate looks tonight. We are recording this as we usually do on Tuesday night. She is at the James Bond No Time to Die premiere. Oh my goodness. I know you've seen this look. You've seen it, right?
I have. And it's stunning.
Yes, I literally cannot go on one more second without acknowledging this gold beaded Jenny Packham look. Jenny Packham, of course, is one of Kate's all-time favorites. The cape, the updo. She is so Hollywood glamour tonight. She's perfect. I am obsessed. I know you agree with me on this.
Yes, I love when Kate has an updo. I always think that she does a great job pulling those off. And I feel like this was a moment where we were all really anticipating tonight's look because it feels like it's been a long time since the royals have gotten dressed up and gone out on the red carpet. And, I feel like there was so much anticipation that it almost could have been something where we were let down, but we weren't. I mean,
No.
It was incredible. I think the dress was absolutely beautiful. I loved the cape. I loved the sequins and the gold. Classic, feminine, absolutely beautiful. And I have to say, Camilla looked great too. I loved her dress.
I was going to say that too. Camilla looks amazing. Think what you want about Camilla, whatever, but no one can deny that, for her age or any age, she looks great. She's in light blue tonight. She's beautiful. And then we've got William there in a velvet tux. We've got Charles there in a tux. It's just A plus 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 all the way around. I am wowed. And Kate, you delivered. She has just been, Kate's always been stunning. Okay. Like that's not a secret, but even at Philip's funeral, she took my breath away with how beautiful she is. And tonight she took my breath away with how beautiful she is. She just sparkles. She's perfection. So that is what I'm into this week because, I had a great birthday weekend, but my what I'm into is all about Kate tonight. I can't take my eyes off of Kate. So,
well, you win because that was an incredible dress.
That's our queen. That's our future queen consort right there. Okay, so we are moving into the royal rundown. So as of this recording, again, Tuesday night, we still don't have a name for Beatrice and Edo's baby girl. So I wanted to take a look back at how long it took us to learn other members of the family's names after they were born. So it took the public a week to learn of Prince William Arthur Philip Louis, his name in 1982. For his kids, it took 2 days to learn George Alexander Louis's name, as well as Charlotte Elizabeth Diana's names. These names are a mouthful, by the way. And it took 4 days to learn Louis Arthur Charles's name. It took 2 days to learn the name of both Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor and Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor. Beatrice's name, for comparison's sake, took almost 2 weeks to announce. It looks like she's kind of replicating how long it took to announce her own birth name, because we are at 10 days as of today. And Eugenice took a week to announce. It took 4 days to learn Lady Louise and James Viscount Severn's names, Edward and Sophie's kids. So we're at 10 days today. So we'll see what happens. Again, they'll probably release the name tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, right after our episode drops. So do you have any last minute predictions? Are you still holding strong for Clementine?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I don't have any new ideas, but I did expect her to wait a little bit for the name announcement. And this has been a big news week with everything going on. I sort of feel like she's intentionally waiting for things to die down. Announces it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because she probably didn't want to overshadow Meghan and Harry's New York trip. She probably didn't want to overshadow Kate and William and Charles and Camilla's big night out at the movie premiere tonight, the 28th. So you're probably right. We will probably hear, what you think, tomorrow, Thursday?
I don't know. So I feel like there's so much going on. I almost wonder if she'll wait till the top of next week. I was going to ask you, did you see the latest development with Prince Andrew that came out today?
No, I didn't. Update me.
So, and I have not read all the entire article, but I saw a news headline. I guess, his lawyers were given the papers and they have basically signed it, confirming that he's received them. So, I don't know. I sort of feel like she's not going to want to announce it alongside that either.
Is that not so complicated, right? To be having one of the most joyous times of your life juxtaposed against one of the worst for your family,
Right. Yeah. There's a lot to think about there. And that's tough that she, has to navigate some of that.
Well, if she goes longer than Saturday, then I believe she will have broken her own record for taking the longest to announce a royal baby's name, at least in the modern age. So we'll see what happens. I'm waiting with bated breath. I have no idea what this baby's name is going to be. It's not going to be anything, I guess, probably. I've heard rumblings of Victoria, which would of course be a nod to royal ancestors. And I mean, it ends with an A, like all of the other Italian inspired names that bets are being placed on right now. But I have no idea. Listeners, if you have a name prediction, send it to us, DM us, email us. And if you are right, we will happily share how smart you are on the air. So we continue to wait. But in the meantime, the Sussexes took the Big Apple last week in a big way. So on Thursday morning, Meghan and Harry kicked off their trip with a visit to the World Trade Center and the 9/11 Memorial. They met with New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio and New York Governor Kathy Hochul. And later that day, they met with U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas Greenfield, as well as Chelsea Clinton. Meghan is setting the turtleneck trend for fall in a big way. She wore a turtleneck and a coordinating coat in Time magazine. She did it again in New York City. It is so good to actually just see Meghan again in general and from a fashion perspective. And to me, the most adorable detail from Thursday was Harry's briefcase, which was inscribed with Archie's Papa. Did you see that?
No, I actually didn't. I don't know how I missed that.
That is so cute. Also, Meghan, with her Dior bag, gave a big nod to her late mother-in-law, Diana. So they know that we're watching their fashion like hawks, which we definitely are. So Then on Friday, the pair went to an elementary school in Harlem. Meghan read her children's book, The Bench, to the students and wore, how shall I say this, a polarizing red outfit. Did you see this outfit?
I did.
Okay, what did you think?
I was not a fan. I think it was just, no, I loved the color.
Yes, I love that color.
There was too much going on. I think had she worn the pants and the heels with maybe a fitted top, or the coat with maybe like all black underneath or something, it could have worked, but I don't know. It was not flattering. I did not think. What were your thoughts?
So take the coat off, and the outfit was phenomenal. The outfit was great. Under the coat, you missed this great belt she had on, but the coat looked like a robe, a la Hugh Hefner style robe. It looked like pajamas. I did not like the coat, but the outfit, the color was great. The outfit under the coat was great. Of course, Meghan's getting questioned. Meghan can wear whatever she wants, first of all, but Meghan's getting questions. It's not that cold in New York City. At the time, it's still September. Well, it's still September today. It's mid to late September. It's not, December. What's up with all the coats? But the outfit under the coat was stunning. I am hearing buzz, and I don't have any confirmation of this, but I am hearing buzz that Jessica Mulroney is back on the scene and is Meghan's stylist. And some of these pieces looked very Jessica Mulroney, but that was the only miss as far as fashion for me. I really liked the turtlenecks. I loved the coats. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the all black dress and the camel coat, I think that's a pretty classic look. Again, I don't know that it was that cold. I'm sure it was just part of the whole look. Now, the head to toe, was that navy that she was wearing, the top and the pants? The pants looked too long to me. They were like dragging the ground. So I think those could have been tailored a little bit. That was not my favorite look. It was a little boring, and just sort of harsh. I don't know.
What about the white Valentino dress?
I was gonna say that was, I think, my favorite.
Yeah.
I think that's more in line with sort of my style and things that I like. But I thought that was a cute look. Loved that dress. And again, the red pants and shoes were great. The red coat was great, but together, not so great. So that's just kind of my recap of all of her outfits. Did you know the red coat, that is almost $6,000 just for the coat?
Well, and she got a lot of heat for wearing a $6,000 coat to an elementary school in Harlem, and with children there who might not have the means to buy a $6,000 coat. We'll just say that. And so, but Meghan gets heat for breathing. So what are you going to do? But no, it was interesting because it was like coats and coats and coats and coats and even a scarf at one point. And then we come out swinging with this short Valentino number, which I love. Meghan's legs. She has great legs. And I don't like talking about other women's bodies, but she looked amazing. I love the dress. And so go ahead.
Back to the red look also, it is even just, just the fact that she was at an elementary school at all in that outfit, I started to laugh because it is a pretty dressy thing to wear to go read at a school. It doesn't really feel like it fits the occasion.
Yeah, I could have just done without the coat. I mean, without the coat, I'm telling you, if you find shots of the belt in the outfit without it, it's so good. But I would say, from a fashion obviously from a public service perspective, it was a great visit, but from a fashion perspective, every look hit for me except for that red coat. I did not like the red coat. I did not care for it, but the color was great. And I hope remember when she wore, this was in 2018, maybe 2019, she wore that the monochromatic maroon look, where she, I'm talking about the pencil skirt. Like, I love her.
I loved that look. I think the thing with the red outfit in this case is it didn't fit her in a flattering way.
It was very loose.
And it was very red all over, where I think the other monochromatic look was a little bit more of a muted tone, if I remember correctly.
And there were different shades of it. Like the skirt was a shade darker than the top, and it just balanced it out really well.
Well, and her hair is down in this outfit too, which that kind of also adds to everything that you have going on. If your hair is kind of flowing and swaying versus being pulled back, there's a lot of elements going on with the outfit, and I think that's what it is that people are maybe not liking.
Food for thought. So then on Saturday, the Sussexes kicked off the day by meeting with UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, where they discussed the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which was put forth by the UN in 2015. Many of these goals, like achieving gender equality and ending hunger and poverty, align with the work of the Sussexes and Archewell. So then it was off to the main event, Global Citizen Live in Central Park. Meghan swapped the coats and turtlenecks for that short white Valentino dress that we loved. So here is what Meghan said at Global Citizen Live about vaccine equity. Quote, every single person on this planet has a fundamental right to get this vaccine. That's the point, but that's not happening. And while in this country and many others, you can go almost anywhere and get vaccinated, billions of people around the world cannot. This year, the world's expected to produce enough doses to meet the target of vaccinating 70% of people in every single country. But it is wrong that so much of the vaccine supply has only gone to just 10 wealthy nations so far and not everyone else. It's just not okay. And then Harry echoed similar sentiments, saying, quote, guys, we have what we need to vaccinate the world, but the experts told us, here's what's getting in the way. They said many countries are ready to produce vaccines at home, yet they aren't allowed to because ultra wealthy pharmaceutical companies are not sharing the recipes to make them. These countries have the means, the ability, and the workers to start manufacturing. All they're waiting for is the vaccine intellectual property to be waived and for the vaccine technology to be transferred over. And by the way, many of these vaccines were publicly funded. They are your vaccines. You paid for them. So global citizens, we ask you tonight, do you think we should start treating access to the vaccine as a basic human right? When we start making decisions through that lens, where every single person deserves equal access to the vaccine, then we can achieve what is needed together for all of us, end quote. So I've got to say, this visit seemed to be a whole lot like a royal tour. It certainly was scheduled like one. It felt like a royal visit, did it not?
Yeah, that was something that I had been thinking as I was watching coverage of them, touring around, for lack of a better word. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, it's very strange. We don't have anything quite like the royal family in the US, and you go back to this. They left the royal family and they said they wanted their privacy, and they were carving out a new path, a new role. But it does feel like they're just sort of recreating what the royals are doing in the UK, but doing it in the US. Do you get those vibes?
Oh yeah. I mean, granted, that's probably all that Harry knows, but that's one thing to just show up and go to the Global Citizen Live concert, speak, and that's it. But they did a full visit, and the press seemed to know where they were. So I don't know if that was planned or they were just following them around, but it felt very much like a royal tour, a mini royal tour. And I wonder if this is the path forward for them, if that's how we can expect to see them in the future. I'm just happy to see Meghan at all, to be honest with you. As someone who is the editor of What Meghan Wore, it's nice to just be able to see what Meghan is wearing. But yeah, I've read, I believe it was Omid Scobie that said that they're about to enter a new era of visibility, and maybe this is the path forward. I don't know. We shall see. So Kate is back to work in full force, taking on engagements and even playing a bit of tennis with US Open champion Emma Raducanu. Apparently, did I say that right?
I'm not sure.
I never know. Emma, I should know this. She's a fantastic tennis player. And apparently, according to Emma, Kate's forehand is quote unquote incredible. The sporty Cambridge trend continued. William was seen playing soccer this week. And speaking of William, he joined forces with former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg to co-write an editorial for USA Today in support of his Earthshot Prize. In part, the two-man team wrote, quote, "The science tells us that this is the decade to act and that waiting is not an option," end quote. So he continued. This is about to be a huge month for Earthshot. So we're going to be saying that word many times in the coming weeks. So Kate also sent a tweet, which you know it's her because it was signed C, responding to the murder of 28-year-old Sabina Nessa, a teacher in London. Kate wrote, quote, "I am saddened by the loss of another innocent young woman on our streets. My thoughts are with Sabina's family and friends and all those who have been affected by this tragic event," end quote. So if you'll remember, Kate also publicly mourned murder victim Sarah Everard, attending her memorial earlier this year. This is obviously an issue that is important to her, as it should be. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's funny when you think about England, and I don't know, I always think of these charming places and these cute little towns and streets and pretty buildings, and you just don't think about there being I mean, I know this sounds silly and naive to say, but you don't think about the crime, that's going on there.
Yeah.
And it is really sad, and that is a reality, unfortunately. But I'm I think it's great to hear from her, and to have her speak out on something like this, and just let people know that she's aware of what's going on. She's not oblivious to these things,
Yeah.
and she cares about the people in her country.
Yeah, she's not in an ivory tower somewhere immune to the news that's happening in London. And I agree. For some reason, when I know London is a big city, but when I think of London, I don't ever think of it being anything but peaceful. And maybe, I mean, I have no, reason to pass any judgment on London. I've never been there, but it's so heartbreaking to hear stories of crime anywhere. But good for Kate for speaking out, because she, as she said, when Sarah Everard was killed, she remembers being young and walking the streets at night. And so I'm proud of her for using her voice. So the last item on the royal rundown today is we still haven't seen over here in the US the BBC documentary about Prince Philip, even though some of our listeners are DMing us clips on Instagram. So thank you for that. But apparently it was Lady Louise, who we mentioned earlier in the episode, who is the daughter of Edward and Sophie, that was the star of the show. Louise's mother, Sophie, said last year that Louise, when she turns 18 in December of this year, will have a choice as to whether to use her HRH title, which the public, after this BBC documentary, is now pushing heavily for. So, what do you know about Lady Louise, and is she one to watch in this family?
Well, I feel like we've been hearing more and more about her recently. And I don't know if it's just because she is getting older now that we're starting to see more of her in the news, and hearing reference of her. But I actually do think that she will use the HRH title. I kind of get that feeling. And I think if she does, I think that's great. Hopefully, she'll do some great work like her parents do. I think in general, their family has been relatively quiet until recently. We've seen them more and more step up and take on some royal duties on behalf of the Queen. But she seems incredibly smart and talented, and like she could do a lot of really great work.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens, and she's going to be 18 years old very soon.
I know.
And
I don't know why I was surprised. I was thinking she was younger than that. I feel like she grew up quickly.
she did. I mean, she was a bridesmaid in William and Kate's wedding, and at that time she was only 7, I think. And she's will soon be 18, which is wild. So, um I think that, you know, obviously the Queen and Philip would never say this, but I know that James, Louise's brother, and Louise are among the closest to the Queen and Philip, because there was, you know, a large gap between the two of them and their older cousins. And so, you know, Louise very much bonded with Philip over carriage riding, right? And Louise loves horses, and so I know that they're all very proud of her, and I can't wait to see what she does. I can't believe she's going to be 18 in a couple of months. I don't know where the time goes. I remember when she was born. I mean, I say that like I was there, but I was in high school when she was born, and now here we are. So, all right. So we've seen Kate out on the red carpet, dazzling, but what do the Cambridges like to do in their spare time? I think you might know.
That's right. Yes. Well, I know you had to see the photos of them over the weekend out eating as a family at a pub. Did you catch that?
Yes, and they're so cute. And I saw a little black dog in the corner. Did you catch that? I think that's their new dog.
Yes, so I was going to mention that. I think it was the son that actually shared the photo, but the family they were sitting outside at a picnic table. There appeared to be a family dog with them. It was like a black spaniel. So I was wondering if maybe it came from James Middleton. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I bet so. I wish I knew the puppy's name. Because I miss Lupo and I want to know the other dog's name.
I know, I had that same thought. But in the photo, you can see, so they're outside on a picnic table, and William's on one side of the table with Charlotte, and then Kate's on the other side, and she's between George and Louis. It looks like Prince William is eating a giant hamburger. And they also coordinated very nicely. They were like all in some shade of navy or blue, and it just looks like a really great weekend lunch outdoors. So they were actually, it was reported they were in Norfolk, which is near Anmer Hall. So I thought it would be fun to do a little segment today on what the Cambridges like to do on the weekends around Norfolk, where their country house is. So I found an article that just highlights, I think it was a Hello article that highlighted some places that they had been seen around their local town, and I thought we could run through them.
Let's do it.
Okay. So the first one is there's a place called the Rose and Crown Pub. The Cambridges have been reported of visiting this pub with their kids. Apparently, it has been around for 600 years. And they have a play area out in the garden for kids, which I think it's so funny that to say a pub has been around for 600 years. Because
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, that's a really old pub.
Yeah. I mean, old here is like 50 years.
Right. Right.
So the interesting thing about this pub is they also have a bed and breakfast, so guests can stay there. They do change their menu seasonally, so I thought it would be fun to check out their summer menu, which is still up on their website. A couple of things they have on their menu is a veggie board that comes with a tomato salad, garlic and basil pesto, and an onion hummus served with flatbread and falafel. And they also have a chicken and veggie tikka masala that comes with rice and naan bread. And then for dessert on the menu, they've got Norfolk strawberries and cream. So it sounds like a really charming place. And I think it would be really cool to see the Cambridge family out eating with their kids there.
Yeah. What if you were just enjoying your Saturday lunch and there's William, Kate, and the kids?
I know. Well, I'm sure that's what it's like around there. I mean, people are probably used to seeing them out and about.
True.
And I will note on the photo that came out this weekend, there was no security. I mean, they were just there as a family, or at least if there were security, they were not visible to anyone.
They were far away.
Mm-hmm. So next on the list, you're going to love this, Rachel, and I'm actually curious if you ever done anything like this, but there's a place located in Burnham Market called Mabel's Paint Pot. And Kate has been seen shopping here multiple times. So she's taken the kids there on their school holidays. And it's this charming little place where you can paint like ceramic items, like little pots or plates or cups or whatever. And then you can take them home with you. So I went to their website, and of course, it's truly adorable. It's very British, and it looks like a place I would love to go. They've got a little paragraph on their homepage that says it's a place where people of all ages can get creative. But I checked out some photos, and they do kids' birthday parties. They also sell sweets, and it just, the photos had the room in there where they do parties, and there was just pink and other pops of color and designs and bunting hung up around the room, and it was just really, really cute. So my question to you is, did you ever go to one of those ceramic painting places when you were a kid?
No, but I love to paint, like one of a sips and strokes situation, like painting class. Like I really in Pinot's palette, one of those, I really enjoy those. I've never done anything with pottery, but I would love to do it.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, we had a place in my hometown, and people would have parties there, sort of like this place. And you would go, and you would pick out your item, and it was priced based on how big the item was, and then you would sit there and you paint it, and you leave it there for a week so they can glaze it, and then you come back and pick it up. But just
Love that.
yeah, a really fun place for
That
kids.
sounds like a fun way to spend a Saturday afternoon.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can imagine Kate painting something and taking
Oh
it.
yeah. Look, Kate can do it. I know this episode seems like Kate fan club meeting number 17,000, but like seriously, Kate can pretty much do anything she puts her mind to.
So next on the list is a place called Smith's the Bakers, which, as you might imagine, is a bakery. It's near Anmer Hall. So this place has been in business for 50 years, so not quite as old
Just a
as
baby little business.
but it does actually have a royal warrant, which means they can officially supply goods to Her Majesty, and they have before. But it is in the Cambridges neighborhood, and Prince William was actually spotted there last year, and he was picking up croissants for the kids. So that also gave me memories of when I was young. My dad loves stopping by bakeries and getting fresh donuts, and we would always do that when I was growing up.
That's so cute.
Okay, so the next place on the list, I hope I'm going to say this name correctly. It's called Snedism Park. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
Okay, so this is another cool, unique kind of place, but it is like a working farm, and they have a petting zoo and a deer safari. Have you ever heard of a deer safari?
No. I'm trying to think of okay, go on.
Photos online of the safari, and it's basically a bunch of people riding along in this little cart type thing pulled by a tractor, but it was stopped outside, and deer were just crowded around. Like, you could just reach out and pet the deer. They would come up to the tractor area. Just really, really cool. But they also have a tea room on site. And in the tea room, you can get baked goods, coffee, tea, and they also have a gift shop there where they sell souvenirs, farm fresh eggs, venison, produce, and honey. And they also have pony rides for kids, and they've got cows, sheep, pigs. So just sounds like a fun place to take the kids, but also a really great place to take visitors. If you live there and you have family in town,
Yeah,
that would be a really unique experience.
absolutely.
So Kate was actually spotted there back in 2015 with Prince George when she was pregnant with Charlotte. So she, I guess, had him there at the petting zoo, probably.
I love that.
So next, we're going to hop over to another restaurant. This place is called the Dazzling Duck Pub. And this is actually a favorite of Prince William and Prince Harry. So it's another pub with a bed and breakfast attached. They've got 8 guest rooms for those who may be traveling through town and need a place to stay. So if you ever are in Norfolk and you want to stay at a unique place, just check out the Dabbling Duck. Their site also says that when guests stay at the bed and breakfast, they receive homemade biscuits on arrival, which in the US we know as cookies. So I thought that was really, really cute. Love that. So the pub itself, they also do a seasonal menu. And I have to tell you, Rachel, this place looked so good. On their site, they say well-behaved dogs are allowed in the restaurant, and they even have a doggy menu.
Oh.
I have to think that the Cambridges either have or will take their dog here someday.
Their unnamed dog.
Right, yeah. But they also go on to say that the chef at the pub cooks with local farm to kitchen produce. All of their meat is sourced from small farms, some from their own land, and they serve homemade apple juice at the pub. And I have to say, so I loved Norfolk the first time I visited, and I would 100% go again. I hope to go again someday. And if I do, I am putting this place on my list of things to try.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I've loved the way the Dazzling duck sounded. Okay, so the next place on our list, and this is the last one, and we'll close out this segment today, but they had a few more places listed on the website, but I am just going to do one more. I think the other places were other restaurants around as well. But this place is called and I hope I'm going to say this right, the Fakenham Garden Center. So as you can imagine, this, of course, is a place the Cambridges like to go. And when I first read about it, I started to describe it as a nursery, but I went and checked out their website, and I feel like calling it a nursery would be a major understatement. I mean, this place is a full operation. I mean, it is a true garden center. So I have a local nursery in my neighborhood, and it is like a fraction of what this place offers. But you can think of it as sort of a nursery combined with like the garden center of a home improvement store, combined with a landscape specialist department, combined with a coffee shop.
Wow.
So yeah, they even have a coffee shop on site. But you can purchase everything you need for your garden here. They've got plants, gardening tools, patio furniture, grills, and they do have a landscape design service. They also sell pet supplies. But you could really make a day out of shopping here, and if you need a break, you could stop off for some caffeine and snacks at the coffee shop. They also serve breakfast and lunches, and they have free Wi-Fi. So I was sitting here just daydreaming about, remote working from this cute little coffee shop at a garden center. I feel like that would be some really great people watching, don't you think?
Oh yeah, especially if William or Kate happen to pop by.
Right. So Kate has been spotted here. And she also mentioned that her kids love to go to the garden center. That's something that they enjoy. And we know they like to garden at home and grow their own produce. I think when she was asked about it, she said that George loves playing with the Venus flytraps. And the kids also planted some tomato seeds, and they watched them grow, and the plants ended up getting as tall as the kids. So I thought that was really cute.
So cute.
So those are just some areas around their local neighborhood near Anmer Hall. So you can imagine a weekend off for the Cambridges might include something like outdoor dining at a pub, a stop off at a garden center, maybe some time with the kids at the petting zoo or painting ceramics. So just a really nice, relaxing, small little country town.
I can get behind all of those activities. I want to weekend like the Cambridges. All of that sounds fun. And sometimes the things Kate does are far beyond my pay grade, but I can garden, I can eat, I can maybe do pottery. I've never tried, but those are things that sound even something like a mere mortal like me could do.
Well, I agree. And I was thinking, we mentioned, I think in our last episode that they might be looking at other houses. So I don't know if they're doing that, but I definitely do feel like this is a nice way to sort of unplug from the hustle and bustle of London, and get out of town on the weekends and just do something, relaxing
Yeah.
and just enjoyable with the kids and the family. So, yes, definitely take some inspiration from the Cambridges and try to have a laid back weekend with some of those activities.
Sounds good to me. So I want a weekend like the Cambridges.
So that's all for me.
Love it. Well, another good episode. The Royals are back, everybody. We have done 4 weeks now in September, and boy, oh boy, do we have a packed fall for you. We have so many high profile guests scheduled to come on the show. It makes me so happy. Next week, we will go finally over the book club selections from this summer. So don't forget, listeners, to finish reading your copy of the Windsor Diaries and Prince Philip's Century, because next week is the week we will be going over them, and then we'll have so many great guests for the rest of the year. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And it's just a lot to look forward to. So anything else you'd like to say for the good of the order, episode 39?
No, I think I would love to hear our listeners' thoughts on Kate's look tonight, and just wishing everybody a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
So in the meantime, between now and next week, follow us on Instagram at Podcast Royal. Email us at hellopodcastroyal@gmail.com. Follow, rate, review us. Thank you, listeners, for being here with us on this royal journey we're on, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.